through one.
What we'll do is we'll do a crash course on Warhammer 40k lore. Very briefly, I'll try to make it light. Crimzo and Lord Rowan can help out where maybe I'm not as knowledgeable, and I'll try to help out where they're not as knowledgeable, and all together we'll just make stuff up as we go along about Warhammer. We've got Terran, who is our minister and priest, and you worship the God Emperor of mankind. So why is this guy a God Emperor, and is he actually a dude who's an emperor? Technically, yeah, but he's pretty much a corpse on a throne at this point, hooked up to a bunch of machines to keep him somewhat sentient, and he has so much psychic power that he actually produces the ability for the human race to have faster than light travel. If he were to die today, then there would be no faster than light travel anymore, and everyone would be fucked and everything going to the Dark Ages again. So it's in everyone's best interest that this God Emperor corpse man stays alive on the throne, and that's pretty much the reason why you're worshipping him. You believe that he put you in this universe, he's given you the gift of life and the gift of everything you have in front of you, and that's good enough.
We live by the Emperor's light.
Exactly.
Something like that, yeah.
Which takes us on to the next point about Warhammer 40k. The main tagline of this universe is "there is only war," and what that breaks down to is that living in this universe is fucking awful. It's just the worst existence for everyone. Everything's trying to kill you, and if it's not trying to kill you today, it will try to kill you tomorrow. And everything outside of the human race is evil. You hate any aliens, you don't like change, and you pretty much stay within your own, and the Inquisition makes sure that no aliens or heretics or chaos come in.
We root out heresy.
Yes. Chaos is an important part. It links to psychic abilities, which is magic in this universe, and comes from the warp, and that's a whole other subject. But yeah, chaos bad, and magic should be controlled is the main thing to take away from that. Other than that, I mean, is there anything you guys that are familiar with it think that would be important for newcomers?
I think you got the most of it. Like, humanity is incredibly xenophobic. It's awful.
Yes, if you look even slightly different, they will try to kill you. That includes if someone is born with an extra arm, they're considered a mutant, and extremists would probably put them down.
Oh.
Yep. Into the Soylent Green, basically.
It's a pretty rough existence for most people in this universe, which we'll go into as we play. Are there any questions about any of the stuff that I've just shared with you?
Oh, I do have a question. About the rolling. How we're doing that?
Yeah, so we're going to do it through the chat if that's possible for everyone. So hold Control K and then hit #OS, hit enter. It will take you to the chat. And then to roll, it will be !R space and then the number of dice, D, and then the dice value. So for example, if you want to roll 1d6, that'll be !R space 1d6, enter, and then it will roll.
Okay, we're doing online, strictly online rolling. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not connected online. I'm connected through my app on my phone.
Okay, do you have dice that you roll with, Lemoyne?
Oh, well, yeah, I have like Alexa and stuff like that. I can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Basically, the reason we wanted to do it online is because you have a wrath dice in this. So I'm going to use the first result of any dice roll as your wrath die. So if you can just read off the dice result you get to us as it's read to you by Alexa, and I'll put it in the chat, and then we can follow it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was hoping to actually use live dice because I need to actually work with a set. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
By all means, you use your own dice. We'll just dedicate the first result as the rat die.
Okay.
Cool.
Not a problem.
I die for my rat dice.
I know Rowan and I are hearing impaired. I'm not sure if anyone else is, but yeah, I'll try to keep the music at a minimum. If it's too loud, let me know.
I only have one ear, so.
Well, welcome to the Hearing Impaired Club, Taryn. It's nice to have you.
Thank you. It's nice to not be the only one.
Between the three of us, we might be able to make one pair of functioning ears.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, so after being singled out and inducted into the service of the Inquisition, things have not gone quite as you had imagined them. Removed from your past life, some of you have been tested and measured. Some of you have been questioned and interrogated. And now on your first official inquisitorial mission, Inquisitor Vax has garnered you all passage on a ship to the Armageddon system, where you reached the planet Armageddon. And only hours ago, you set down on the Hive city of Death Mire. Each of you were given the same message before leaving. The message was simple, containing a time, a date, and a location. The instruction to come prepared is signed off with a single epithet: the Emperor protects. You have all made your way through the bustling, faceless masses of the Administratum, and through this quarter you've come to an unmarked service elevator platform set in the rear of a vast and imposing building. This building is covered in skulls, its half-draped urns and other symbols of death, crowned by an immense statue of a weeping saint. It appears that you were expected. The wizened face of the platform's inbuilt servitor addresses you. It studies you up and down and says, "Pass," as you all climb on aboard the elevator. The service controller chimes activate as the last one of you boards the platform, and the elevator begins to descend as the hatchway closes above you all with a thunderous boom. The platform continues down, and for some minutes through maintenance levels deep into the bowels of the government district. So as you all stand on the elevator, why don't we go through who your characters are? So, Blind OG, aka Lemoyne, why don't you tell us a bit about your character?
Okay, my character's name is Havelock. He's a inquisitorial sage from the Imperium Palace on Terra. His main duty is finding and eliminating chaos and heretics and xenos for pretty much for the greater good of mankind. He stands about 6'2", and he wears some hooded black robes over his armor, and he's pretty suspicious by nature, and it's a characteristic that has served him well as he, obeys the duties of the Emperor.
That is a fantastic description. Crimzo, tell us a bit about your character.
All right. My character's name is Harkin. I am an Imperial Guardsman. I'm from the Death Corps, and basically my planet years ago was bombed into oblivion and fought an endless civil war, and now we live to serve the Emperor, and all of our regiments are trying to wash clean the heresy of our forefathers. I served on the front lines in many a battle, many a skirmish, many a conflict, and through the grace of his Emperor have survived and made my way into the Inquisition.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Crimzo. Or Harkin. And Lord Rowan, you're up next. Tell us a bit about your character.
My name is Quintus, and I am an Imperial Acolyte. Hopefully the voice isn't too distracting.
No, it's great.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Excellent. Yes, so I, back in time, survived a chaos incursion. Chaos cultists were torturing a whole bunch of us, and I was recovered by Inquisitor Vax, and have been conscripted by Inquisitor Ingrid to come here. So I represent the Inquisition and all that is good and holy, and shall purge the unclean and burn them in holy fire.
That sounds lovely. Thank you, Rowan. Or, sorry, Acolyte
Very
Quintus.
peaceful.
Sass or Ken, you're up next.
Okay. My character's name is Steel. He is a former gang member of the Fendar Kim Dogs. Sorry, can't read. Fendar Kim Dogs. The Inquisition came and wiped out his gang and gave him a chance to redeem himself. But he's only looking for a better life, a step up in life to get out of the lower Hive society. So he took the offer.
So the offer was death or Inquisition, and Steel chose wisely.
Yes.
And Taryn, tell us about your character.
Okay. I am Alaric, priest of the Emperor. So basically, growing up, Alaric was always into the writ. He was always studying, you know. And in his community, it was not as well. You know, being studious wasn't popular. Alaric was offered an opportunity, you know, was recognized for his interest in the holy writings when Inquisitor Vax or somebody, you know, came through, and it was a win-win situation for everybody. If, you know, Alaric could go do what he was passionate about, and the community would be free of a problem child, so to speak. You know, free of somebody who didn't really fit. And he took the opportunity.
Okay, and the pie gained a priest to judge them all on everything they do.
Exactly.
Okay, so as we enjoy this extremely long elevator ride down, your party could have cooperated in some capacity before, some small capacity if you choose to. Your characters may have met briefly before being transferred to this planet. But on the elevator ride down, does anyone feel the need to say anything to their party or to interact or describe how their character would act in any way?
I guess Avalok would start talking to Quintus. And I'll say they knew each other, or maybe they've seen each other before, or, you know, something like that. So pretty much him just, you know, nodding to him and, you know, telling him hey or something like that.
Yeah. Quintus will nod and eyeball everyone else suspiciously. It's, here on behalf of the Inquisition, they must always be wary for corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Even amongst the loyal.
Everyone is guilty until proven innocent. Excellent.
That would be correct.
Terrifying. Okay. Do anyone have anything else to say?
I haven't yet decided if I'm going to do any sort of modulation to my voice, but Harkin is pretty much got a gas mask attached to his face. Basically, his home world is in such a terrible state of radiation and toxic weaponry that they constantly wear their gas masks, and they're trained to fight using them. And and can be in any situation with them. So his face is horribly burned from chemical and radiation burns, and when he takes off his mask, it's not a sight to be seen.
I have a bit of artificial voice augmentation simply because when I experienced chaos that drove me to the Inquisition, I screamed my voice out to the point where my throat was no longer usable, and so I had to have some augments.
And that is why my voice is like this now.
And that is why you have Jigsaw in your pie, everyone.
Okay.
Death to the enemy.
Perfect. Okay, so at the end of this elevator's very slow descent, you are deposited at the end of a wide grey corridor. It's lit by these pale lumen globes in the shape of cherubs holding torches. Only the first part of this corridor is lit, and the rest of it trails off into complete darkness ahead of you. Do you stay on the elevator, or do you head into the darkness?
Alaric puts the book down that he's been reading on the elevator and tucks it away and says, "Let's go. Let's do this."
We must
Harkin
bring
takes a
the
step
Emperor's
forward.
Knight with us.
Yeah. Harkin takes a step forward, always the first, the type of soldier who's always the first into the fray.
Still will be the last out.
Like a proper guardsman.
The ganger trailing behind, Steel the ganger at the back. Harkin, as you step off the platform, more of the globes illuminate ahead to reveal the path. And as you walk forwards, more of them flicker into life before you. As you begin walking forward through the hallway, those globes behind you begin to extinguish as the ones ahead illuminate. There is but one path. The corridor is featureless, and it smells faintly of chemical disinfectant. After about 5 minutes, the corridor ends in an armored metal door. The metal door unseals and unlocks with a hiss of pressurized air, opening with a loud grinding of heavy gears.
I pull out my hand flamer.
Ready.
Yep.
The room inside has a jumble of dusty metal crates stacked against one wall, with a hospital gurney, complete with restraint straps, has been toppled over on one side against the other. The room's most striking feature, though, is a wide mirror which fills the upper half of the opposite wall from the entrance door.
Quiddus is just gonna look around and take a deep sniff.
This smells of heresy.
What does heresy smell like?
Still's gonna be like,
heresy.
Smells like sin.
Sin and putrefaction.
Steel from the back is gonna be like, how can you smell anything with that thing on your face?
You learn.
Whatever, Robo.
Careful with your words, Hive scum.
You have a problem?
Yes.
You're lucky we got a job to do.
That would be correct. Shall we carry on and purge this filth, whatever it is?
After you, oh so great leader.
I'm glad you know your place.
Yeah, we'll discuss it after the mission's over.
Well, you guys seem like great friends.
Well, you know.
He doesn't
The
like
sooner
to,
we get this done, the less chance they have to be ready
Murder
for
each
us.
other?
Harkin starts scoping out the room, looking for any hidden heresy, so to speak.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, Quittus and Harkin, why don't you both make me an awareness check, because Quittus breathed in deep for a smell of heresy, and Harkin is having a look around. So your awareness skill will be under your skills, and the bracketed number is the number of D6 that you roll, so number of 6-sided dice.
Alright, so I've got 3. So it's 3 plus wrath die, or 3 including wrath die?
3 including wrath die.
Alright, so I'm going to roll 2 regular and 1 wrath die. That's not looking good. 2 1s and a 4, so I got a 1.
Okay. How'd you get on?
Oh,
Harkin?
okay, it's D6s.
Yes.
It told me that I got a 2 total. I don't know if I did it right. I'm trying to use the Discord.
Okay, no problem. Let me take a look here. Yeah, Taryn, it's like Alien RPG where we're using D6. Oh, I think you rolled 1 D6. So how many do you have for awareness? Do you know?
2.
2? Okay, so roll 2 D6. So it'd be R space 2 D6.
You're not
you can just
putting
put yeah, you can just put 2 D6. You can skip the R and the space.
Okay.
Sorry to cut you off there, Ken. Excellent. Okay. Oh, you did 1d20. D&D on the brain.
I did. Okay. Let me try it one more time. Exclamation mark 2. All one word.
Yeah. So exclamation 2d6 with no spaces.
Got it. There we go.
Perfect. So you got 1 success as well. So both Harkin and Quittus sense the room. Quittus is breathing in, can smell the chemical disinfectant. Clearly a medical facility, but also the smells of putrefaction, a morgue, so to speak. And Harkin, as you look in, you can tell that this is a long abandoned room, and no one's been in here in quite some time. There's also a thin layer of dust on the floor. You can see there's no footprints in there.
No footprints?
None.
Just the ones we bring with us.
Gotcha. Also, I just want to do a quick check. I want to make sure that I am not putting too much background noise to you. Can you hear my keyboard clicking?
Yeah, but don't worry about it. It's all good.
Okay, well, I don't want to mess up your recording.
Oh no, don't worry. It's we get like 40 people listen to it and they'll love your keyboard.
It really only shows up if it's like the only thing, like when you isolated it like that,
Yeah.
it showed up.
Cool.
But
Yeah,
other
okay,
than
sounds
that,
good.
it kind of doesn't.
Cool.
Okay, so you're all standing at the door, Quittus giving a good old sniff, and Harkin poking his gas mask face in to look around.
Guardsmen, do you see anything?
Seems to be a medical facility of some sort. I don't see anything of note.
Let us carry on then.
Quittus, are you the first to step in the room?
If the guardsman doesn't go in first, yes.
I'll go in.
Okay, Harkin.
Yep. Harkin takes a step forward, confident but wary.
I am shielded by the light of the Emperor.
To your party, you look confident, but inside you're cautious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, as you slowly enter into the room and take a step, the large mirror taking up half of the wall across from the entrance begins to clear to transparency to reveal a glittering steel chamber beyond it. Inside, the chamber is tall, and there is a thin-faced figure standing there wearing white medicae robes with a red leather coat draped over his shoulders. Behind him, covered by a mothed grey sheet is what looks like a body on some sort of frame raised upright for inspection. Floating in the air behind the mirror are a pair of white enameled skulls encrusted with a variety of brass instruments and long hypo needles. To anyone that recognizes them, they would be servo skulls.
Servitor skulls.
So they're normal enough, right? They're not like heretical or out of place or. Don't know what?
Do you know lore-wise what a servitor is?
Not exactly. I'm not, like I said, I'm not familiar with this universe, so.
Alright, well here's the first taste of 40k. A servitor is basically a lobotomized criminal brain that's been put into a robot to serve a task for eternity.
Wow.
And that is accepted practice.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're not dead. They're just,
right.
repurposed.
But I mean, it fits with the Emperor's writ, shall we say.
Yeah. Okay, so are these figures moving at all?
So it's these aren't servitors, they're servo skulls. They're these floating enameled skulls encrusted with brass and hypo needles. So they're like flying skulls, Terran, that float around this thin-faced man who has this red leather coat draped over his shoulders and Medicaid robes underneath. He is smiling at you, waiting for everyone to enter the room.
All right, so Avalok will step in and then kind of step over to the right of the doorway. Not really close enough to be in range of attack, but just, closer to the guy and ask what's going on here.
I have my flamer up and pointed at him.
Harkin has his hand rested on his blaster.
Got my stubber, but it's down by my side.
Stubber is a gun for anyone worried about what Ken has in his hand.
Okay.
Basically a shotgun, if I remember correctly.
It's sort of like, a crappy shotgun, slightly better pistol.
Yeah, between a pistol and a shotgun is the description.
Okay.
As you step into the room, Havelock standing cautiously over to the side, Quiz pulling a hand flamer, and Harkin and Steel both ready with their weapons. The man spreads two gloved hands and a smile flashes across his face as he says, "Greetings, acolytes. I am Medicaid Interrogator Crane. And you are the new blood, are you not?"
Still says, I ain't no acolyte.
State your purpose, medic.
Avalok says, seems to be.
Had we been told to actually meet someone here, or?
You had been told nothing except the place, the time, and the date, and that was the elevator.
Well, that depends, then. Alaric says, coming up, that depends on what you consider new blood to entail.
Havelock and Quittus, seeing your suspicion, the next sentence is a series of words that sound like gibberish to everyone else in the party, except for Havelock and Quittus, because you have the Inquisition keyword. What he's actually saying is in Glossia, which is a coded language used by the Inquisition. It's a mixture of what would sound to us in modern day of Latin and random words entirely. In this Glossia coded language of the Inquisition, the man says, "Worthy additions to our holy war, but trust only in the Inquisition." He then... go ahead, please, have a look.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Could you repeat
He
that real
switches
quick
back.
for me?
Oh, sorry?
Could you repeat that for me? I didn't quite process that.
Yes, no problem. I'll say it in layman's that he said in coded language that Havelock and Quittus would understand that you're worthy additions to our holy war, that you should trust only in the Inquisition.
Quittus will nod and put down his flamer.
Havelock will reply, I live only to serve the Emperor.
The Emperor protects.
Emperor, save us, they're speaking in tongues.
It is for them to know.
I do say that I do say in regular Gothic, low Gothic, presumably, that the Emperor protects.
Yes. So for languages,
Because I'm assuming I would know what, like I wouldn't be able to understand Glossier, but if I'm guessing as a priest, I would know, kind of like I know when I hear somebody speaking Spanish, I don't necessarily understand them, but I know it's Spanish.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd say that serving in the Holy Order and now the Inquisition, you'd have a pretty good idea of what's going on. You just wouldn't know what they're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Emperor does indeed protect. What are we... Because that was in English, or in Gothic, I'm assuming. The Emperor protects that was spoken was understandable by all, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The languages here, predominantly in Wrath and Glory, are Low Gothic and High Gothic. Low Gothic is what you would speak as Quittus, nicely called Gang of Steel. Hive Scum would speak Low Gothic, and High Gothic is basically Latin and for the upper class to speak in.
Right.
Just calling it as I see it, you know.
Probably most of my reading is High Gothic.
Yes. The man nods to you all, and the smile seems to broaden even more now that he realizes he's attracted your trust. And he says, the Emperor does indeed protect. Well, to the matter at hand. I represent the holy orders of the Imperial Inquisition that we all serve. Our masters have called you here to assist us in the investigation of a matter of interest that has recently escalated. Oh yes, for your information, you are now in the depths of the Templum Mori, the House of the Dead, where the Lords Prefecta Mortem held court, and the fallen and the lost of the great city are named and counted. It will not surprise you, then, to know that you have to view a corpse. I doubt it will be the first time for many of you, but it is, as we shall see, quite singular.
I take it that's the one in the frame.
Yes, it is indeed.
It's our subject.
He pulls the sheet away from the cadaver and just in a single motion just whips his hand, pulls the sheet clean off and reveals the body underneath. I'm just going to go through here just for interest of knowing a bit about your characters. Let's start with Havelock. Havelock, how do you feel about seeing a dead body just laying there on a gurney?
I guess his first question would be how, like how she died, and is there, apparently there's no danger now, but, just kind of wondering how she died and looking over the corpse very meticulously for all the details that, you might find just by sight.
You would see that there is clearly a wound in the head of the corpse.
Okay. And is that is that something that he would know that would be maybe like a gun wound or a hammer wound or something like that?
It would clearly be not a las wound, because a las wound would be clean. I'll tell you what, make me a weapon skill check. So your weapon skill, what's the number that's not bracketed?
All right, hold on. Says my weapon skill is 2.
It's
Is
2?
that what you're asking?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
2, and then what's your? I believe it's intellect.
Could Harkin help out in this check?
Yeah, sure.
All right, hold on. Let me get to it.
I think typically there you
Okay,
can't
so it's
assist.
4?
You have 4. Okay, so typically you can't assist. I think you have to pick the person with the highest. You do have Wrath, which allows you to re-roll. If you get 2 Wrath per session, so please do use them up to re-roll. If you run out of Wrath and you want to keep rolling, you can re-roll and I'll give you an extra point of corruption. How's that for fair? Okay. So have a look. You've got 4 intellect and 2 weapon skills. So roll me 6 6-sided dice.
So 6d6.
That's right, yeah.
Alexa, roll 6d6.
We're looking for a difficulty
Six
of
dice
3.
Got 5, 5, 3, 3, 4, and 5 for a total of 25.
Nice.
5, 5, 3, 3, 4, and 5.
Excellent. You got like 5 successes there. No, 5 successes there. So, not only do you know straight away, Havelock, that this was an auto weapon. So this was a kinetic gun, something that uses bullets that plastered through this person's head. And you can see other wounds on the corpse. There appears to be an opening in the chest, although it looks more clinical. And there's also some lacerations on the stomach. But the wound to the head is clearly what killed it, and it was definitely an auto pistol, not an auto gun.
Okay. And is this something that he can immediately share, or should he just wait for others to, see what they can see with their own skills?
Let's go through everyone else and see how they feel about seeing a dead body. We'll move on to Harkin next, although I can already imagine how Harkin feels.
Yes, Harkin has seen countless scores of dead bodies, many of them friends. So this is just another corpse to Harkin.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Who dat?
Okay, it's just Ken jumping in and out, doing the hokey cokey. Here he is. So Harkin's pretty much unfazed, just checking his knife.
Yep.
Okay. Quitters, how do you feel about a corpse in front of you?
Pretty much normal. There's plenty of corpses similar to, the guardsman. Sorry, I'm crap with names, but I'm better with rolls. Similar to the guardsman, also the fact that he's probably on more than a few occasions personally created those bodies.
Excellent. Ken, Steel, our ganger friend, how are you feeling about this corpse?
Fine. Living the gang life. He's dealt with death, violence. So it's no big deal to him. Another day for him.
We have Alaric, our priest. How are you feeling about a corpse?
I'm thinking as a priest, probably, a little more, like, I've probably seen a few, probably had to perform rites over 1 or 2 of them over the years.
Okay.
At this point, of course, it's dead, so I am actually going to be asking our thin medic friend, what do we know of who she was?
Okay,
We know it's she.
Or who they were, who
Oh.
well, somebody
I thought
else.
I missed it. Sorry, I thought I missed that. That's why I asked that. Okay. Sorry about that.
Have a look. Before I go into responding to that, I'll give you the opportunity to take the information I gave you, and if you feel you do want to share it with anyone, you're welcome to do so.
Okay, so Havelock will say the corpse seems to have, many wounds and lacerations in the chest and head, and one of the major is the wound to the head. And it'll just say that it looks like it came from a weapon. Maybe I guess I would say it was like an old school weapon, since a lot of the newer weapons aren't kinetic. so it'll say something like that, an old-fashioned weapon.
Scores of my brothers died the same way fighting for the Emperor. What is special about this one?
The man will wave his hand to the group, and Priest Alaric, to you as well. He'll say, "Now, if you will kindly attend and pay heed, I will take questions afterward." The body has been positively identified as that of one Vorgan Mortz, male, 23 years of age, a hive worker, unskilled laborer, certified, formerly of the Tantalus Indenture, registered habitation chamber 623, stack 717, Karskala Division, Southern Zone, Hive Death Mire. Subject found dead on the Mid-Hive Transit Rail 3 days ago as the car returned to the main depot. Primarily, examination at the scene suggested death by gunshot wound to the head. I can confirm, like our friend here, that this was the cause of death, administered at close range. The man has no prior criminal record. He was rendered invalid by indenture, laid off, if you will, some 60 days ago, and then 30 days ago, Mortz was recruited as an inquisitorial informant brought on by local administratum officials due to irregularities with population statistics in Karskala Division. Mortz had other grafts and surgeries also, one lung replaced by a concealed storage cavity. For his use as a courier, this was. Also, one optic nerve removed, skin flayed from his stomach. I've no idea why. On Mortz's face are symbols of chaos, scarred and cut after his death, I might add. His system has traces of amnesec and mild traces of obscura in the one lung he had remained. Mortz was reported missing by his sister, one Luna Mortz, 2 days ago. The storage cavity in Mortz's chest held a single data slate. The word or name Dagon written in it and nothing else. This is all the information we have to go on with Vorgan Mortz. I will now take any questions you might have.
Steele's gonna step up and say, so what you're basically saying is this guy was used as a mole. Someone found out, and they used him, got whatever information out of him, and then, I don't know, used him as an example, maybe?
While you say mole, I will say a servant of the God Emperor of mankind and the Inquisition, Ordos Hereticus. But yes, he was used as a mole in the Karskala district, and we believe he was bringing us the information of the word or name Dagon and potentially additional information to accompany it, and upon learning that this was being brought to us, someone caught up with him.
You're using a lot of big words to say you used him, whether most likely by no choice of his own. You used him and he paid the price for it because he was a lowly hive worker.
For the Emperor.
Yeah, Harkin almost reflexively says, "We are all tools of the Emperor."
And Avalok nods his head.
We are tools of the Emperor. In the lowliest hive scum.
Still
We
shakes his head.
all should be servants of the Emperor's will. That is what keeps us here and keeps us together.
One question I had as well is, you mentioned that there was chaos branding on him.
Yes.
Great.
And what nature of chaos has branded this person?
It appears to be the markings of Korn himself etched into the face of one Vorgan Morts.
And who is that?
Korn, the blood god.
Skulls for the Skull Throne and all that.
Skulls for the Skull Throne, milk for the cornflakes.
Blood for the Blood God.
But yeah, he's the one that gets off on blood and death, even of his own demonic servants.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
We must be wary. If chaos is afoot, we must root it out and purge it.
Agreed.
I look over
This
to...
would never have
Noah.
happened if he wasn't forced into this position.
So Avalok looks at Steel with a really cruel gaze, and in his mind he's thinking heretic.
Careful. Those are the words of heresy. You cannot speak against the Emperor.
Still looks back
Penalty
at
is
him.
immediate death.
Still looks back at him with defiance. Easy for someone of your status to say.
Easy
You don't
for
know what
anyone
it's
who truly
like.
follows the Emperor.
Harkin tries to sympathize. An innocent death is, of course, a shame, but for the Emperor.
Still shakes his head. For the Emperor, he kind of chuckles.
Yeah.
Alaric's kind of gonna be kind of keeping his eye on this one.
Which one? Great.
I feel like I should be giving everyone wrath points for immediately getting into character and loving the Emperor.
We
Somehow
bathe in
out
the
of
light
character,
the
I think
Emperor.
I'd hate him, but
Yeah, I agree. Out of character, it's something totally different.
that's out of character, though.
Right.
In character, the Emperor is literally everything.
Right, and especially when you're surrounded by people who are supposed to be his followers, you don't, have wouldn't want to really voice, some of the doubts that he might have about, the Emperor when surrounded by, these people that he sort of just met.
Yeah. It's heresy. Okay, so we know more or less the nature of this person's death. What was it, Dagon? Was on the data slate inside of his chest?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. We know precisely where he died, and an investigation was conducted there.
Do you have any more information on the site itself? Any more evidence on who shot this person?
No, unfortunately the Koskala district is quite far out, and by the time it arrived in the depot, he'd been dead for some hours.
This Dagon.
What a shame.
That name sound familiar at all?
Which name?
Dagon.
Was it Dagon?
Yes.
Dagon. Quidus is going to turn to Steel.
You're a Hive scum. Do you know anything about Dagon?
Oh, I thought you, the mighty Inquisitor. he says it funny like that on purpose. He's like, I thought you were supposed to know everything.
I am a representative of the Inquisition, not an Inquisitor.
Oh, my apologies. No.
To claim
Hello.
such would be to purge myself. I am
Unfortunately.
not worthy for such a lofty title yet.
And
But hear
hopefully,
me, I will.
Does
mumble, hopefully, never.
would Dagon be something I had encountered in reading, or
No, this wouldn't be something that you'd immediately recognize. The name or word Dagon is quite abstract.
okay?
And so I guess no one would really know, like, as far as like if it's just a normal person or if it's like like a chaos god or anything like that, right? Because all that stuff is kept kind of secret.
You'd have some idea. They don't want you going around saying the names of chaos gods.
Right.
But you've got a pretty good idea of who's who, and this isn't something that you've heard down the grapevine.
Yeah, to know a name not to say, you almost have to know the name.
Right.
Well, to know the name,
Other-
not to say to others,
Yeah.
is what I mean. Yeah. So okay, cool.
Medic, what do you know of this Dagon?
Have you further information?
We do not have further information. This will be your duty as you go to the Cascala district in Hive Death Mire to find any information you can about who killed this one Vorgan Morts. We believe his sister Lunar Morts is still in the same district. We do not know anything about Dagon. We would like you to find information about Dagon as well as the death of Vorgan Morts. This is to be a shadow investigation. No open official involvement and no notification of the local authorities, and no one knows he's here either. Cascala's downhive, so a covert approach will draw far less attention than a boot through the door, and as far is less likely to kill any leads for us to find out who is responsible.
Okay.
Understood.
It is the Emperor's will.
Excellent. We do have a cover identity for you, and I have some additional equipment to help you with this. We have you on our Coplast assay cognomen. These are encrypted metal punch cards. They will identify you as members of the Coplast assay, which is to say that you can pose as regulators, mercenaries, bounty hunters, reclaimators, whatever you need to say that you are. This will cover you and allow you to openly carry firearms. It will be an easy-to-sell cover story for you. All of the cognomens are over in one of the crates there to your left, as well as some Cascala pass tokens to allow you passage on the transit rail. I also have provided you with hand vox. These are cheap and not great vox, but they allow you to communicate over quite some distance, a good range of a few kilometers with each other through the hive. I've also provided you disguises, lower hivers overcoats. These will go over any armor or equipment that you are wearing and allow you to cover yourselves. Although the member of the Death Corps, as much as we appreciate your service, you may want to remove your gas mask. We have chem lamps here in the crate for you as well. These are small portable lamps that will allow you to see even when the night cycle begins in the downhive. And lastly, I have coded data slates for you. It has any information you might need, pictures of Vorgan Morts, pictures of his sister, Lunar Morts, a map of the Cascala district with any places that you may need to visit listed in there from the administratum. If anyone enters the code incorrectly on your data slate, it will erase all information included on there. And lastly, I provided some additional funds for you to pay for any lodgings or meals you may require while down hive.
If I must pretend to be a hive scum, it is the Emperor's will. Lower myself into this filth. Which shall be, it is for the Emperor.
Yeah, so he's gonna head over to the crate and start gearing up and going through everything and acquainting himself with the clothing and gear and information and all that fun stuff.
Yep, and Avalok will do pretty much the same. Just head over to the crates, look things over before starting to pick things up and add them to his inventory.
Should we mark down some of this stuff in our inventory?
I've actually got a list here. I'm going to email it to you after the session.
Perfect. That'd be great.
Oh, good, because I missed that. I was trying to cut it down.
It's also, the list also has your cover story written there in case, because I know a lot of this lore stuff is gibberish. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got most of it. It's just going to be a matter of actually remembering all of it.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, as you're gathering the stuff, the interrogator will ask, any other questions?
Did he ever tell us his name?
Again.
Go ahead.
Would the Vox not allow for that?
The Vox will not carry long enough for you to reach in contact. If you need to get in contact with us again, you would need to find a Vox that can travel far enough to get in contact with us, or you would need to take the transit rail. I will try to arrange for an informant to meet with you in 2 days down there for an update. We do not want open Vox communication about any of this information.
Understood. Thank you for your work in furthering the Emperor's glory.
Go with the grace of the God Emperor himself.
May his enemies be purged in holy fire.
I'll just lightly click my hand flavor, light it up a little bit.
Steele's gonna go over to the body and not touch the body, but kind of place a hand next to him, and he's gonna silently say I will find justice for you.
Seems reasonable, I guess. Alright. Guess we're all gearing up and getting out of here.
Yeah.
Are there any other exits than the one we came in?
No, there is only the one that you came in through.
Okay.
As you gear up and leave and begin reviewing your data slates, I imagine at least the sage and the priest would be checking stuff over, if not everyone, and it gives you directions on how to get to the transit railhead and take it to the Cascala district.
Yeah. Quintessence also reading through everything and trying to memorize it as well as he can. Has to make a genuine effort to not look completely disgusted as he puts on his Hiver disguise.
You just see Steele over there smiling.
Alaric
What's the matter?
does not
First
mind.
time you would wear something like this.
Alaric has no problem with it, and because even the lowest, even the lowest in the Emperor's service are still of the Emperor as long as they're, following the Emperor's will.
Yes, but they're still below me.
Hey, I'm glad so many people in our party have morals. Their characters have good morals.
Yeah.
In this universe that is trashy.
Are we fully dressing down? Are we taking off the armor we came with, or are we just putting our civilian clothes
Cover it.
So you can
You can maintain any armor and cover it.
Yeah, you just cover it
won't
with
lose
your stuff.
All right, with their civvies.
Yeah, and due to your cover story, you can openly carry your lasgun there, Harkin.
Yeah. Nice.
And just putting it out there, Quintus doesn't have morals. Period.
Right.
If it makes you feel any better, Quiz, I played with Taryn and Ken in an Alien RPG game, and both of them were torturing people openly. So you're in good company.
For the Emperor.
Perfect. All right. Yes, I do want to get some torture in.
And Avalok has morals as long as, you know, like they align with his own ends. Sort of that's how his personality is.
Yeah, my ends are those of the Inquisitor. The Inquisition. Purge the heresies. Alright, we're all geared up and get raring to go.
Excellent. The journey to the Koskala district takes several hours by transit rail car. During this time, you have to change rails repeatedly into these increasingly dilapidated and vandalized cars. You pass tokens and the cognomen, which have your fake identities on. It has the same name, just to make that note. It has all of your details. It just says that you work for a different organization. Everything's repeatedly checked by these suspicious magistratum enforcers, these dull-eyed carriage servitors as well, and the officials who look very bored to be there. And just to let any of you know that aren't familiar, enforcers are basically the cops of the 40k universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Quinn gonna do his best to just keep his mouth shut, because all he can talk about is the Emperor. That's just gonna be a dead giveaway.
So, as the journey progresses and you're going to be spending several hours on these rail cars together, I'll give you guys this opportunity. If any of your characters want to discuss, plan, or set anything up for your characters, you can go ahead whenever you like.
Need to quickly look up my backstory, because I'm pretty sure I came from some sort of ship. Ah, yes, a derelict ship. Sometimes. Yeah, I'm kind of just looking around the carts and just shaking my head or what have you in obvious disdain. He doesn't like this particular place, but for the Emperor, you know. It is his will.
Well, Quiz, as the journey progresses, you pass from the relatively open spaces and clean air of the government district, and you move down, and across whole hive levels, past these collapsed fineries and the fallen architectural splendors of, you know, the good old days, and through the vast steel sky vaults filled with endless rows of hab stacks, which are apartments, and these kilometre after kilometre of thunderous manufactura. The further they go, the more depressed, ill-maintained and decayed things become. These are the lower stretches of the mid-hive. Beyond these, no transit rails run. Beyond this outer circle is the underhive that Steele would be familiar with, where no law holds sway. These long stretches of the journey are spent in the stale, tainted air of the wormhole-like tunnel passageways within the hive's thick, supporting bones, and in the nameless black voids of deserted spaces between the car's lights flicker and fail regularly. Alone in a single car now, deserted but for you guys, the rattling carriage breaks into another vast and dilapidated hab vault and begins to slow. You look out upon a vista of vacant and decayed buildings in a worse state than any that you have seen up until this point. Even Steele would be surprised at how dilapidated this hive section is. Stretching beyond sight into the dark horizon beyond, is just complete ruin. The car shudders to a stop, and the doors open onto a wide raised platform devoid of passengers, completely empty save for a single huddled figure dressed in rags. The figure quickly bundles themselves on board and flashing a pass to the door mechanism with an unseemly haste, and it takes up a seat as far from your group as possible. A moment later, a dull cracking servitor intones, Koskala District, railhead passengers to disembark, and then it begins to die. The rest of it is just lost in this howl of static as you have reached your destination at the Koskala District.
This figure is still on the carriage with us?
Yeah, they got on and they huddled up and got onto a seat at the opposite end from you.
Great. Yeah, I'm gonna walk over to them and
What have you to fear?
Oh, he jumps as you say this. Roll me an intimidation check there, Quintus.
oh, I think I got a good score in that if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Okay, I must have missed this person coming on.
Yeah, so they're just a huddled figure in rags. They're completely covered, and they just rushed onto the train.
I've got an intimidation of 3. Okay. Rolling to intimidate. Alright, so I got a 2 and a 3, so those are failures, and then I got a 5 on my wrath, so that's a 1.
Okay. The one success will give you one response from them then. As you ask them what have you to fear, they look up scared. It's an old wrinkled man under a hood. He goes, oh! And he says, I want to get away from here. I don't want to disappear like everyone else.
How do you mean disappear like everyone else?
Please leave me be. Roll me a persuasion check there, Alaric.
All right, let's see what I got for persuasion here.
Unless you're looking to intimidate, which you're more than welcome to. I feel like this whole game is just going to be people intimidating people.
Let's see. I have a persuasion of 3. I don't see any brackets though, so.
Okay, no problem. So just the 3 dice then.
Okay. It doesn't use any other stats or anything, just the...
It uses your fellowship, I believe, or willpower. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But it should be calculated there for you as 3.
Oh, okay. Oops.
Yeah, it's intimidation is willpower.
I was saying persuasion.
Oh, persuasion. Sorry, I'm reading intimidation. Yeah, that'd be fellowship.
Okay. A 5, a 4, and a 3.
Nice.
Oh, that's great. So that counts as 2 successes. As you say, persuasion, can you repeat your question for me, Alaric?
What do you mean disappear?
Quitters is just going to nod along with the questioning.
He will cower at Quirce and he will look to Alaric and say, people have been going missing here during the night cycle. Thousands of them.
How long has this been going on?
Years.
What's taking you so long to jump ship?
I'm finally brave enough to leave, but now I'm worried that you're going to harm me.
So Avalok will walk forward and say, we will not harm you as long as you pose no danger to us.
I am but an old man. The rail
Gonna-
car is beginning to hum as it comes back to life.
All right, we should probably get off. We're at our destination, right?
Yes.
I believe we have all the information from this person.
Avalok will ask the man if he's heard of Vorgan or Luna.
He'll shake his head to that. Have a look. He doesn't know anything, and he looks quite scared.
All right.
All right, let's hop off.
Quitter's just gonna scowl at him and leave the carriage.
Okay. And on that note, let's give you a description of when you step off of the train onto the transit railhead platform of the Cuskala district. So, as you stand on the platform, it gives you a great vantage point of the Cuskala districts. The transit head railway stretches up above the main square, and you can see these roadways that radiate out from the main square. There's a 50-meter tall granite statue of a winged woman. It looks a millennia old, and it is headless. Occupying the area of the square below, around the headless statue, is a ragged sprawl of stalls, peddlers, open-air cook shops, and scavenger piles. This is now what you can assume passes for open commerce in the southern Cuskala, as it would appear to be a market in the main square. From the map provided, that I assume many of you studied on the way, you can tell the main attractions of the square, the 4 locations around it that would be of note to you in particular. On the eastern side stands a squat rockcrete pillbox 3 stories high. It's an enforcer station. It sits in a state of shuttered lockdown from what you can see. On the northern side of the square is the 3rd Tantalus Workers' Union. It is decorated with crude graffiti as an individual stumbles out from the door, clearly inebriated. The western side of the square houses the Southern Templum, a small chapel of the Imperial Creed. And like most of this area, the chapel has definitely seen better days. A crumbling tenement building of knocked-through dwellings is situated on the northern side of the square, and it's marked by a cracked paint sign above the door which reads Cuskala Hostel, obviously what goes for a hotel around here on the northern side. Beyond the square that greets you, there are these hab stacks, these apartment buildings that stretch up to the steel ceilings above you. There is no sunlight here. That is only a memory to you. Just steel skies and fluorescent lights that, provide some way of seeing around down here. Looking down to the bottom of the transit railhead steps, you can see 2 enforcers who look around and see that you've disembarked from the train, and they seem to step to the bottom of the stairs to wait for you.
I will stride down the stairs as if I belong here.
Make me a fellowship test, Quitters.
All right, that's not going to go well. Fellowship. Ooh. All right, so that's 1 regular, 1 wrath die, right?
So what's your fellowship rating?
2.
Yeah, 1 wrath, 1 regular.
Alrighty. 2 6s.
Nice.
Oh man! So that's 4 successes. So so when you get a 6 on your wrath die, everyone, that means you get to make some kind of cool narrative declaration, as if you got a critical success from D&D. So, Quitters, tell us what cool thing you do as you walk down the stairs.
All right. Is there any sort of leadership structure for the enforcers that I could claim to be from? Actually,
Here,
no.
in a small district, it would literally be, like their captain / chief, and then just a bunch of dregs.
Alrighty. I think. Jeez, he just wants to say what he actually is and just get it over with, but that's not the mission. Crap, I don't know what I want to say.
I'm just gonna
scowl at them and, just say,
this matter does not concern you. Step aside.
They step aside.
These are not the mercs you were looking for.
Oh, they step aside for Quittus, but as soon as Quittus passes, they step back in front of the stairs to greet everyone else.
Right, so
I turn
Avalaku.
around and scowl at them.
And you gain a point of glory as well.
Bear with me.
Seeing as you got 4 total successes, and on your rat die, they'll move aside and they'll let the rest of the party through.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Just, the biggest ego possible, and it works.
Yep. That makes
Alright.
things easier.
Yep. Alright. Yeah, so they turn to block my companions, and I turn around and just simply state, they are with me. And obviously they just moved out of the way. We'll carry on. I will walk directly towards the hostel.
Harkin will start stalking on Quintus's right side.
And
I will
Avalik falls
go
over to
my
the
hand
left.
To left.
Steel is behind, just smirking. Like he can't.
Smirking at what?
Just smirking.
If there was one thing you hate more than the Inquisition Steel, it would be enforcers.
Yep. He's like, oh, to see these two at odds.
Just enjoying the show over there.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so
he's feeling at home here, so he's not worried about enforcers, anybody.
yeah, so Quittus is going to just walk to the hostel like he owns the place, or like no one else should be giving him any issues. He keeps a hand on his flamer, not making it obvious that it's a flamer, but making it obvious that he has a hand on his weapon ready to swiftly deal with anyone who would decide to make a problem. He is, after all, a mercenary working in the Underhive.
Okay. As you all make your way across the square, I imagine the 3 of you walking up front look like a trio of badasses walking up with your guns, like just eyeballing everyone. There's like 50 to 100 Hab citizens here in the square. Not that many for a district this large. And, it's mainly reclaimators, dregs, and a handful of like these cocky gang blades hanging around. They seem to congregate and just do business in general. The goods on offer are such things as salvage and ill-repaired household items, patched clothing, and food rations supplemented with these barely looking edible cooked vermin. The only permanent structure in the market part itself is this burned out Technomat's shop with a cyber mastiff chained up outside and a wooden sign that says Striker Salvage. But you make your way over to the hostel, and it's this ragtag of old tenement buildings that have been stitched together as a hostel.
All right. Yeah. Just stride in.
How much for a room?
Okay. This even compared to the rest of the area, the hostel is in absolutely awful state. To any of those in the pie that have not been to a mid to lower sort of / under hive area, this is pretty awful. The walls are sort of blighted with damp and the plaster is peeling and the furnishings are covered with patches of mold and there's undefinable stains on them as well. Behind the check-in desk sits this bulbous-headed, sickly-looking man with these large bloodshot eyes, and he's got pale, clammy skin. And there's a woman who hunches in a chair close to it. She appears to be sleeping, and upon Quittus walking in and demanding how much for a room, the man suddenly animates to life from the desk as he begins to make his way out towards you, Quittus, and he quickly wakes the woman and shoots you a yellow-toothed smile as he says, "Please, come in.
I am in.
A room. I mean, how much have you got?"
How much is it?
Only a few thrones. He, as wealth is an abstract concept in this game, will say that he gives you a reasonable estimate for a room in this area. It's a little more than you'd like to pay, but it's a reasonable estimate.
In the interest of not raising suspicion, he's just gonna pull out whatever coin or credit chip and just toss it at him.
Is it pulled out from your I'm in the Inquisition purse?
No, it's from Mission.
He takes it, he catches it in his hand, he's almost panicking as he goes to catch it, and he looks at the coin and goes, oh, quickly, Tilda, get the things.
What was the name there?
Tilda is the woman. She
Tilda
comes over in a zombie-like trance to take your things. Steel, could you make me an awareness test, please? Actually, everyone in the party, make me an awareness test. So look at your awareness skill and roll that many d6, and then we'll go through.
What was the name of the sister again?
The woman?
Yeah, no, the name of old sister.
Luna, I
Luna.
think.
What was the name of that skill we're checking? Is it perception?
Awareness.
Awareness, that's why I couldn't find it.
2, 3, so no success. 5 is a 1.
Right, and you said, how do we get the dice roll? I have a 2 on awareness, so...
Excellent. So you can roll it on Alexa if you want.
So just 2 6-sided dice?
Yes, if that's your total for it. Let me check. I can pull up your character sheet.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't see the number that you said that was supposed to be like in the brackets. Like it just says one number.
Okay, no problem.
I got 1 success.
Since this is a Steel's kind of area, do I get to add the plus rank bonus?
You can use your skill to add plus rank bonus, as you have a special skill. Is it Hive something?
Hive Explorer.
There you go.
Hive Skull.
So for awareness, Lemoyne, you've got intellect of 4 and then awareness of 2, so you roll a total of 6 dice.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, I did mine wrong then.
Wait.
And for the record, Steel,
Let's
I am very
roll
much enjoying our back and forth.
6-sided dice.
Yeah, that was great. Keep it going.
All right, cool.
Okay, so
Oh shit.
it's awareness plus intelligence then?
I think if you've got it bracketed, then it'll be that number. Otherwise, you have to add your intelligence. Yeah.
I have no brackets on this.
Okay, then yeah, add your intellect.
Harkin's basically just falling asleep while he's where he's standing.
You got 1 success.
Yep.
I got a 3, a 2, and a 1.
Oh man. At least you didn't get a 1 on
No
your wrath
success.
die, so that's good.
All right, so I got 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 6.
Oh, excellent. So that's 3 successes for you.
I have
Awareness. Wow.
535 264.
Excellent. And how did Quitus get on?
I got 2 and 3 on my regular dice and 5 on my route die, so I only got a 1.
Okay, so Havelock and Alaric, you two, as you're standing there, this hostile proprietor is making a fuss and getting this woman to come and take your things, even though you appear to not be holding any bags. You get this faint smell of something, and as you sort of sniff in and look around, it's the faint smell of Obscura, which is, it's a narcotic that can be injected, smoked, however you want to take it. But it appears that someone's been smoking Obscura in here at some point, and the smell is now stale in the lobby. So Havelock and Alaric, you can both smell that.
All right.
Is that a where does it fall on the chaos / heretical scale?
Drugs are okay because lots of rich people take them, so you're not too concerned. Maybe morally you're upset.
That's the justification.
Right,
It's
so
okay to
Havelock will
rich
put his
people.
hand on his knife and sort of take a step back away from, her as she comes in, comes in close. Since he doesn't know why she's walking up, because they don't have anything for her to, take or anything.
Quitterson's also suspicious to begin with anyways, and will back away from her. Not that he notices any of the drugs anyways. He's a pure soul. He's never taken drugs.
The woman Tilda is oblivious to Havelock stepping back, and I imagine subtly fingering his knife as Quitus also steps back. She just turns completely unoffended to look to the rest of the party. But the man notices that you guys are stepping back, and he puts a hand up to the woman and he says, Tilda, you're scaring them. Move. Go away. Go and sit down again. And she goes and sits back in the seat and immediately goes to sleep again. He says, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to invade you. I don't get a lot of guests here. So, please, I'm very grateful for your business.
And Havelock will nod, as if to say it's okay.
All we require is a room, nothing more. Tell us which one we are staying in.
Oh, I have 12 double rooms. All of them are vacant.
Okay.
Quittus will just nod.
I shall take the first one.
He's just going to turn around and go to the room. Presumably there's no locks or anything like that, because in a place this derelict, a lock's not even going to matter. You just push on the wall and it collapses like paper.
There is a rudimentary lock on there.
I just rip it off.
Okay.
So Havelock will ask the proprietor if there is a bar, even though this place is really ran down, but they will just ask if there, what other amenities do they have to offer.
Amenities? I don't have any booze here, but I can go and get some.
All right, and Havelock will say, no, that's okay. And then he'll just go to his room.
Okay, do you take a separate room to Quitus?
Yeah, I'm going to take 5.
Okay.
You don't like
A
Quittus?
random number.
If we are allotted our own spaces, yes. I will also find one
Okay.
with the best lighting I can find.
For some good old reading.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much.
Nerd. Imperial nerd.
Darn straight.
Great.
You called it.
Yeah. I'm going to assume that Quittus pretty much sleeps as light as a feather. So he will sleep fully clothed, fully armed, but ready to go at a moment's notice.
What's our time of day anyway? For that matter.
There's no time of day here, because there's no sky. But if you were to ask the proprietor of the hostel, what time of day are we at here, he would tell you, we're about 2 hours away from the night cycle. Everything here powers down. We don't have enough power to go through the whole 24 hours, so all the lights go out. It gets pretty dark out there, and I typically bar the doors.
Okay.
Steele's going to prepare for the night cycle because he knows how it goes down at night. So.
Harkin wants to drop by.
Absolutely paranoid. It's great.
Harkin wants to drop by Quintus's room and give him a little talking to. Basically, I've seen your kind before. The way you do things. Just mark my words. The enemy is the heretic. The enemy is the Xeno. The enemy is not the commoner. Do not slaughter, irrespective of that.
I will do my best, but if they show any signs of corruption, they must be purged.
Steele will be going past. Steele will go past the room for the Emperor.
And
Quittus will just, repeat
for the Emperor
without hearing the sarcasm in Steele's voice. Sincerely replying to sarcasm.
We'll have to keep an eye on you.
As you should.
So upon entering his room, Avalok just checks everything and looks at the bed and decides to lay on the floor.
Oh.
That too is what Quittus would do. Just sit against the door.
Steele, Harkin, do you both take your own rooms?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, take my own room, prepared. Don't we have something that lets us see at night or in the dark?
Chem light. Yeah, you have chem lamps.
Yeah.
Yes. So Steele will have that at the ready. Just
what are they called?
Prepared.
Quittus, before he actually goes to sleep, he's going to clean and inspect his weapons. He must uphold the honor of the Emperor. And his weapons are extensions of the Emperor's will, as he is.
Yeah.
Harkin sleeps with his lasgun on the night table next to him.
He's not sleeping with it on his chest.
That's what I was just gonna say.
As Quittus pleases the machine spirits by taking care of his weaponry, and Harkin honors the Death Corps by always being ready, being prepared, and Havelock is worthy of the Emperor, not worthy of a bed, like a true acolyte of the Inquisition, laying on the floor.
Especially not a dirty bed with stains on it.
Havelock is being more practical about hygiene.
Oh, Steele's not in the bed either. He's sitting in a chair away from the door and away from the bed.
Is Steele just sitting in a chair, gun in hand, just looking at the door?
Yeah.
He's like, no, something's coming.
Hey, like I said, he knows. As a matter of fact, Steele's in the room, right? The room that's right adjacent to Quintus. So he knocks on the wall. He knocks on the wall.
You know what? And you hear a muffled for the Emperor as Quittus is sleeping, but still responds.
Awesome. Alaric, have you got your reading socks on, cup of tea, some imperial texts?
Pretty much. That is about it. Also, reviewing the data information, which I just saw in my email. As it so happens. But yeah, just reviewing the data and you know, kind of making sure he's got a good sense of everything he can.
Yeah, absolutely. Always prepared with information. As
Indeed.
Quittus sleeps, and I imagine breathes in and snores out for the Emperor.
Absolutely.
And Harkin lays in bed, screaming every now and then from probably some kind of night terrors or post-traumatic stress disorder. We have Havelock ready, Steel falling asleep in the chair, gun in hand, Alaric closing up the data slate and getting some sleep. Can everyone... oh, go ahead there, Quiz.
We are the fucked up fivesome.
Everyone make me an awareness test again, please. So the same test we did before.
Alexa, roll 6d6.
Your fucking awareness is ungodly. It's almost bordering on heresy how much like the Emperor is.
Alexa, roll 6d6.
Oh no.
I rolled 6 dice and got 2, 5, 3, 4, 1, and 4 for a total of 19.
2, 5, 3, 4, 1, 4.
The answer to your calculation is 253.
Just doing math.
Oh, jeez.
Harry, I got 6 and 6 on my regular dice and a 1 on my wrath die.
Okay, I was looking for... Yeah, I was looking for 3 successes. So it looks like only Alaric and Quittus got enough. So,
So what does the Wrath Die actually mean, anyway? I mean, what did that do?
So it's basically your critical success or critical failure. So if you roll a 6 on it, that's a critical success and something cool narratively happens. And yeah.
Okay, so just anything in between is just another die that gets counted in the mix. And
yes, and you also have wrath points, so you all start the session with 2 wrath points. So if you ever want to re-roll on any test, you can spend one of your wrath points and do that.
Do you re-roll all dice or just your wrath die?
All dice.
We also got a glory point, right?
Yes, you have 1 glory point.
And
So glory
is it
point
4, 5, 6? That's the success range?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So 4 and a 5 is
a...
Oh, sorry, Quiz, go ahead.
A glory point is a group resource, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Right. Okay, yeah. So if any of us want to use the glory point for what they're doing, then you're welcome. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. You're welcome. Yeah.
So
and what can you glory die?
I'm just looking out now, actually. It's like, oh, they're going to ask me what they use it for. So you can increase your dice pool. So you can spend 1 glory point and add a dice to a test you're doing. You can increase your damage with it. You can increase the severity of a critical hit. You can seize the initiative. So in combat, we take it in turns. Like you go, I go, you go, I go. But you can say, I'm going to use my glory point to seize the initiative and take Jim's turn and have my character go first.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Well, basically, if you run into a situation that's a bit, hairy, we'll see if there's anything we can do with wrath dice or glory dice. I'm not here to trick you into not using them. We'll go over them as we pass it. If anyone wants to use a wrath point to re-roll their awareness test now, you're more than welcome to.
So if you have a turn and then you say you want to use your glory to take the next person's turn, can you do that, or can you only do that like ahead of actual entering combat?
No, you can do it in the spur of the moment.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Wrath is individual resources. I don't remember what we can do with Wrath. And Glory is a group resource, so we only have 1 glory point between all 5 of us, but we each have 2 Wrath points.
Oh, I thought we each had a glory. Okay, I got it.
You actually earned 1 glory because Quitter's got a 6 on their Wrath die, which awarded you 1 glory point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But on the flip side, if our friend/enemy, frenemy, if you will, the game master gets a 6 on his dice, then he gets glory points for him. That can mess us up.
They're called ruin points.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, right.
With your wrath points, you can re-roll dice or you can make narrative declarations. So if I throw something at you and you're like, fuck you, Jim, why are you doing that? You can say, I'm going to spend a wrath point here, and actually, this also happens.
Oh, okay.
And you can also restore shock, which is additional hit points. We'll go into that with combat. Combat's a whole other beast that we'll likely jump into next session. Unless we jump into it right now with the awareness test, as everyone goes through. Is anyone re-rolling, or are we moving forward?
I'm good. I got 1 success.
I only got 1 success.
I got 4 successes and a complication.
So, what we'll do is, Alaric, you've succeeded. Quittus, you've succeeded with a complication, which means their character has succeeded, but something goes awry as well. I'll explain the situation, then we can figure out what the complication may be. Quittus and Alaric, you're both awakened by a scream in the night. Outside of your windows.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Well. Yeah, it was, I succeeded as well.
Oh, what'd you roll?
216414.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. Yeah, so you did succeed. You got 3 as well. Great. So, Quittus, Havelock, and Alaric, all 3 of you awaken in the middle of the night to scream out in the dark. Out through the windows, through the broken, busted shutters on them, you hear a scream off in the distance, out in the darkness, somewhere, and it wakes you up from your slumber. Quittus, do you have anything in mind for a complication there?
I'm thinking that he was, mid for the Emperor in his sleep, and he just snaps awake and throws his weapon into the wall. His hand flamer. rather throws it through the wall because the wall is, moldy and it lands in the hall.
Wait, can it be thrown at the wall that's connected to steel, and that's what makes steel wake up?
Sure, yeah. I throw it into Steel's room and whack him in the head by accident.
No.
and that's what Steel jumps up with his gun pointed. What?
Steel, can you roll me a d6? This is your wrath die. If you roll a 1, you're going to fire off your gun when you wake up.
And I'm going to have it pointed towards Quintus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Okay, hold up.
Fair enough that you have it pointed at him, though. He's got a bit of a real dick to you. The Emperor, of course.
It's a 5.
It's a 5. So the safety's on, but Quitter still stands up quickly, and you just hear click, click, click as he's pointing the gun at you.
No, the gun is out of my hand. It's through the wall and whacked Steel in the head. I don't have my gun on me.
Okay, people.
And carrying the gun is empty. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, no kidding. Alright. Yeah, that's the complication. Just smack Steel in the head.
Great.
Just look at, like... Well,
Or the Emperor?
I wonder if that scream was related to, says...
Throw me my gun, we must investigate immediately.
Agreed.
Immediately.
Right. He's gonna pick up the gun and just throw it, not even looking, and just throw it and walk off.
Alright, I'll roll the dice if I catch it immediately. 5, yeah, I do. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna rush over to the other two Inquisitorial, or Imperial, our Administorum Priest and our Inquisitorial Sage. I'm gonna wake those two up immediately, if they aren't already awake.
Now, the priest is already awake, was the one saying, I wonder if that's related to our,
Harkin's still snoring.
Yeah.
Do you say it loud enough for us to hear it through the paper-thin walls?
Okay, so the scream came from the outside. Outside of
yes.
the room?
That is where we need to be focused, outside.
Yeah, how close
So,
from outside?
Like, out the windows? Like, we can look out the window and see, or do we need to go outside and go around?
Right. Or was it outside the actual hostel, or was it just outside in like the hallway or downstairs?
It was quite some distance outside of the building, quite far away from the sounds of it. It was.
So we're gonna have to
scream.
actually go track it, and yeah. I say we go in the direction we heard it from.
Yep. I'm gonna wake up in order the Inquisitorial Sage. I peek into the.
Oh, he's awake. So the sage and the priest are both awake. So Havelock and Alaric.
Yeah, I just peek into their rooms, making sure, because and then I go wake up the Imperial Guardsman.
What?
Right, and then Avalok
Get up,
goes
we have
down to
something
the
to
lobby.
investigate.
Of course. Never a dull moment.
Nope.
Steel's already out
running.
the door. Going.
Let's go.
I'm gonna start going in the direction that that we heard it from. You know, like it sounded like it came from.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where you and I are sprinting to right now.
As you reach the front door of the hostel, the bulbous-headed proprietor is by the front door. It's boarded shut. Like there's a plank across it, and he looks over as you're running towards it, and he says, No, don't go out there.
I'm afraid we must, sir.
Steel doesn't even listen. He pushes the man out the way and starts ripping the boards down.
And then Avalok will ask the proprietor what did he see while he was looking out the door.
I didn't see anything. It's darkness out there. But they come at night and they take people. Don't go out there. You'll end up just like them.
Who's they?
Quintus is gonna shout to Steel. Let me just get my voice changer.
Move, scum. And he's gonna just...
And he's just gonna like keep running and just crash through.
Steel, as you push this man, he's an obscure junkie, so he just flops to the floor. It's easy. But Quintus, make me an athletics test here. There's a boarded door, so it's going to be difficulty of 5.
Oh, that'll be fine. It'll be fine.
As he does that, can I step to the side and trip him?
I'm going to ask the proprietor. I'm going to kind of help him, not to fall too hard or anything.
Oh, no.
While asking him, who are they?
They call them the Snatchers. They come at night and they take people. They take thousands every month.
All right,
Thousands.
so Steel, I think you get your wish. I got another 1 on my Wrath die. I got a 3 in total, a 5 and a 6, and then a 1 on my Wrath die. So not only do I not break the door down, you trip me and just knock me out on the door.
Yeah.
All right.
And what I like to
I'm
have
trying to
is like,
think under our cover stories what would be what would fit under, what would allow us to, or say that we were able to handle ourselves without saying we're Imperial.
Mercenaries.
we're mercenaries.
Hired
We're
guns.
mercenaries. We can handle anything they throw at us.
Mercenaries hired to investigate.
Yeah. By some big
So-
shot.
While everyone is sitting in the dark in the lobby, Avalok pulls out his Kim lantern.
Well, I mean,
Well, I know that Quidus attempts to barrel through the door, but Steel has a mean streak a mile wide and particular vengeance towards Quidus, and not only trips him but knocks him out on the door.
yeah. And as
Can we say that Queer screams for the Emperor?
or maybe because there was no light, he actually thought it was a door, but it was a wall, and he just ran into the wall.
I feel like the door is probably the strongest thing about this building.
I have my light with me, but there's a reason why I'm taking the boards down instead of just knocking the whole door down.
Right.
He needs to be able to close it back up.
Yeah. Well, Quidus is now currently KO'd on the floor.
As he falls back, I just go back to taking the boards down like nothing happened.
What was the name of that person of interest that the body had the data pad for?
Dagon.
Dagon. Can we ask the proprietor? Sir, while they do what it is they're doing, have you heard the name Dagon thrown around here?
The Dagon or Dagon?
Either's fine.
Yeah.
Pronunciation.
Grun Dagon?
And how long is it going to take me to take the boards down?
Until we've done this conversation, Steel.
So he's taking them down and putting them back up.
He will shake his head and he'll say, I don't know that name. And as he does, Steel finishes taking down the boards from the door and unlocking it. And as you do, Steel, the proprietor will ask you, how will I know it's you when you come back? I got to board it up behind you.
Steele's going to look down at Quintus and say, "You'll know." When you hear the catchphrase, you'll know.
Open up, scum.
Oh, I thought it would be for the Emperor or something. It would be the catchphrase.
The catchphrase for the Emperor,
Open up for the Emperor.
But Steele's like out the door already after he says that. Like,
Harkin gives the man a squeeze on his arm and then heads out.
Okay. How do you think you guys would track this person? Do you have any skills, any equipment, any features, anything that you think your character would do, even narratively, to try and track this scream off in the dark? If you need me to set the scene, I can.
I know Quidus has an investigation of 6, but He's also knocked out, and all of you are just like stepping over his body as you go out the door.
Right. Like,
I also have some investigation.
So has everybody besides Quittis come out, or is still people in?
Avalok is cautiously stepping outside, even though they've already ran out, and he's holding his lamp, up so that he can see what's going on around outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
While he's running, Harkin will. Yeah. While he's running, Harkin will pull out a lamp as well.
Excellent.
Still will look back and see that one person's missing. He'll go back, see him still on the floor, give him a kick in the side, and then
Roll damage.
Like, wake up!
It's just his pride that's been hurt.
Oh.
Like, get up, fool! You're embarrassing the Emperor.
Do you want me to roll for that, or am I just going to wake up immediately at the mention of being an embarrassment to the Emperor?
Yeah, you can wake up. You've had enough shame on the floor. the only person in a worse state than you is the junkie next to you on the floor.
Oh yeah, Tilda.
Yeah, he jerks awake at the mention of embarrassing the Emperor.
I will not embarrass the Emperor.
Still
Immediately and charges straight out the door.
as he goes by, still like, you already did, fool.
Havelock and Harkin, the voices of reason in the party, as you stand outside and Alaric, with your chem lamps. Green light shines out from them, and it illuminates a 3-meter radius around you, which isn't too far, but it's enough. It is total darkness outside. You are under a steel plate up in the sky, steel all around you. This is basically a vault of a district. There is zero light here. There's a few little flickers from behind shutters in homes, but it is absolute darkness, and the chem lamps do enough to let you see where you're stepping, but not much else.
All right.
I see a man of reason.
Gonna pull out a chem light myself.
Is it possible to? I mean, it's like, how do you track a sound after, like you come from inside? Is what I'm wondering. So, is there going to be another screen? Can we hear maybe something else and then get our bearings from that way?
Everyone, make me another awareness test with you listening out this time, and we're going to go for a difficulty of 4.
All right.
Oh, fuck me. Sorry.
Let's roll 6d6.
3, 6, and a 1 on my rough die again. Third time in a row.
4, 1, 2, 2, 5, 6.
Okay, have a look. Passes.
I rolled my own dice because
4, 3, and 6.
Using my own dice, I got a 6, 5, and a 4.
Excellent.
Now,
so have a look and steal both pass.
will my investigation skill come into play here? Or was that just for awareness?
That was just for listening out for any other sounds, and
Okay.
have a look. You and Steele managed to hear off in the distance, very faint, off to the east, another very faint scream.
Still got a 6 on his wrath die.
Oh, who did?
Steel did, I think.
did.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
I heard.
You get another glory point. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
get something cool happens. Is there anything cool you can think of, Steele, that you'd want to happen in this situation?
Okay. I'm listening. I think listening and hearing the fate scream, and he would motion for the rest of them to kind of follow them, and he'd be standing there, but he'd be motioning for them to come towards him. And as Quintus comes up, he's gonna trip him again.
Well, I didn't get a 1 on my wrath die, so maybe I'm just like vigorously charging off in a different direction because I thought I heard something, and then you trip you for a second time. How about that?
I like point. I'm like that way, and Quintus starts to take off, and I just trip him up again.
Just lands on his face, skids a little bit.
Like, don't be so eager, buddy. Calm down.
This is for the Emperor.
Yeah, but we don't know what.
Also, stop tripping me.
Well, then
I don't know
perhaps
what you're
pay
talking about.
attention to him a little bit, so that because he seems to know what he's talking about and what he seems to have caught on to something. So
He just will take a moment to, like, beard stroke, consider.
I suppose that is something I should take into consideration. Fine, lead on, Hive Scum.
Good. And Steel's gonna pat him on the head and then walk on.
Yeah, Quintus is just gonna, like, grab his hand and just put it down.
I'm just gonna follow the one who has a sense of where we're going.
Right, so Avalok walks over and he, heads out to the east, where the noise was heard.
Yeah, Steel's gonna go towards the north, but he's gonna go cautiously. Not gonna go charging in, but he will head towards the noise at a good pace.
Also, I feel like after tripping twice, Quintus must have broken some piece of gear. Maybe a box communicator?
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that as a complication, that you break your Vox communicator.
Yeah, like he's gotten 3 1s in a row. Like, crap.
What
Yeah.
is it with? This is like the second group I've been in where somebody either intentionally or unintentionally screws up their communicator.
Well,
Oh yeah, it is. That's true.
Allow me the honor.
Quis, you
Yeah, my
begin chasing
my Vox
Havelock and Steel, and you realise that your Vox is rattling, and as you put your hand to it, you think, this is definitely broken. As Havelock and Steel rush on towards the sound of the scream, Steel, because you basically got a critical success on your wrath die, you're able to ascertain roughly where the scream was directly, and as you and Havelock stop without a sign of anyone around, Steel, you look down and you find a coin on the floor. It's a very specific coin. It's not like a typical currency from a hive that you've been to before. It's a gold coin with like a grain on it, like a food stuff type of marking on it.
Do I... Did I do an investigation on it? Some type of check?
You can do a scholar check on it, scholar test. And you can add your bonus rank dice because of your hive proficiency.
I do not have time. I'm assuming I'm not rolling anything at the moment.
He's not much of a scholar.
That's right, Hive Scum.
Hey, you want to be tripped again?
Let me, perhaps I should take a look at that.
Out of character.
I got a 6 and a 4. Wow.
Was that, a 6 on your wrath die?
Yep.
Jesus.
6 and a 4.
I'm getting the
opposite to Quintus.
You're just over here quitting for days.
And
You
when I
now
use my
have
own
3 glory points.
This
Racking
is when
them
I
up.
use my own dice and not the bot, you know.
So as you examine the coin, Steel, you're not able to ascertain exactly what it is, but you make a very good educated guess that this is likely used for food in the hive. It's usually something like this, cannot be used as currency, but is instead exchanged directly for food at some kind of depot.
It's a food stamp.
I was just thinking it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just thinking it.
Well, damn.
Okay.
Great minds think alike, I guess.
All right, I'm gonna pocket the coin and continue to investigate, search for the screen.
Well, Steel, as you were standing doing that, let's go to the rest of the party. As Steel stops, picks up a coin, you see him looking at it. What are the rest of the party doing?
I was kind of looking over his shoulder, but the coin as
Yeah,
well. If there
absolutely.
was anything I recognized.
Steel does. Harkin, what are you doing? What are you up to while they're both over this coin?
Yeah, proceeding cautiously, looking around, seeing if there's anyone coming out of the woodwork.
That it was beaten before for you because you've just arrived here. You're very, and you've now reached the scene of the scream, according to Havelock, and no one around.
Lasgun is out.
As far as what else, is are there any clues or anything like that?
Make an investigation test. There's going to be difficulty of 5.
Alright, so I have investigation 6, D6?
Yes, because I think you have intellect of 4s.
Yeah. Alright.
Yes.
Damn.
So it'd be 4 and 2.
He's a nerd.
Like all of us.
66.
Yo.
Alexa, roll 6d6.
Wow,
That was
dang,
great,
dude.
bro.
5, 5, 4.
Whoa,
That's impressive. Dude.
So 6, 5, 5, 4.
Yeah,
Get another glory point.
6, 6, 5, 5, 4, and 1.
We're just fucking... We gotta use these because they're use or lose, aren't they?
Are they gonna stay with the next episode, or?
Yeah, the glory points will. So the wrath points reset at the beginning of each session. The glory points I'm going to reset at the end of an act. So there's 3 acts for this mini campaign, and I'll let you know roughly a session before we end Act 1, so you've got some idea.
I will be right back, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a fantastic roll. As you
Too bad it wasn't in battle. Or something.
as you begin investigating, you can hear something up ahead. So as you begin looking in that direction, you see something off in the distance, and with your keen eyes and your investigative knowledge, you look and see 2 red glowing eyes off in the distance looking at you.
Alright, so when you say in the distance, like how far is that in feet? Like, so I can know, like sort of like if I should go back and tell the group to hurry up, or if it's just up ahead and I can, kind of shine a light on it.
It's quite a distance away. It's, like 100, 150 feet down the road. And they appear to be moving. They're bobbing around.
Do I notice Havelock's interest in the distance?
Havelock, would Quitters notice?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay. Can I roll investigation on the general direction that he's looking in? Because I can't see what he's looking at, but I'm very much curious to see if there's a heretic I can burn.
Absolutely, yeah. Roll in difficulty 5. Let's see if you get a 1 on your wrath.
Well, the steel would be making his way up to him. After
so we
pocketing the coin.
I got 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and 5. My wrath die is 3, so that's not a success. I only have 2 for my investigation.
Do you want to use a wrath point?
Sure, why not? So that's re-rolling successes, right? Or failures.
Yes.
Does that include the wrath die?
I'm not sure actually. Let me check.
Isn't there? You re-roll the whole thing? I think that's what
Yeah,
it was.
No, just failures.
That is pretty
Reroll
cool, though.
failures. After you've rolled your dice pool for a test, you can spend a wrath point to reroll every 1, 2, and 3 in the results. You can only do this once per test, and you can't reroll a wrath die.
Okay,
Oh,
so
you can reroll your wrath die unless you rolled a complication. Sorry.
Interesting.
Okay, cool. So I'm re-rolling 4 of my 6 dice. That's much better. Alright, so I have 1 failure, 3 successes, and a 6 on my wrath die.
Nice.
So I've got, let's see, 5, and then a 6 on my wrath. So I could actually shift one of those dice, couldn't I?
Yes, you can.
And I can shift it. What can I shift it to on a skill check? Like extra craziness, or can I shift that to a glory point?
Let's check real quick. Let's go to shifts. Shifting. So, the groove, you can choose this, I'll just spin it. Shift the, when there is an exalted icon, yeah, you'll be able to remove it. For special benefits, this is called shifting. You can remove an exalted icon from a test to the DN. You can shift the exalted icon, there is no limit.
Right. So I think it just can shift to extra skill result in essence.
I think so, yeah. So you can basically, shift it for additional information, gain quality, improve the speed at which you're doing something. Basically. Or you can shift for extra damage in combat.
Can I use the powers of squinting in the dark to see what this thing is?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you look forwards with Havelock, and you guys now have 5 glory points, by the way, you also see the red eyes bobbing in the distance up ahead. It's obviously something looking around at you as it's running, and you know that if you sprint, Quittis, you can catch up with them. That's your glory. Oh, your wrath success.
For the Emperor!
Arkin hears the battle cry and starts picking up the pace.
Yeah, I'm gonna charge right at him, and of course I gotta, get that sucker ready.
And
Okay,
Havelock will
absolutely.
follow right after Quintus. So he takes off right after him when he charges.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Is there like a roundabout way that I could take while they're running straight forward?
Oh, you mean like flank? What, we're
sneak
running
out.
that?
Yeah. While they're going forward, they're going to try to go around, because the thing is probably, if it doesn't engage, it's going to try to take off.
Yeah,
What,
I'll if
thing
you
would that-
substitute one of your turns, Steel, I'll allow you to flank the thing.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'm back.
Okay. They've spotted the red eyes and they've taken off after them.
Quintus got actually finally got a 6 on his wrath die, and hey, it's only fair. It's only fair after getting 3 1s in a row. Has screamed for the Emperor and charged off directly towards the red eyes.
Okay, so
fanatical
Quintus-
position.
Quittis and Havelock, as you're both at the forefront of the charge, I imagine Harkin and Alaric are following behind.
Yes.
Yes, I'm assuming that we don't know anything about this thing except red eyes.
Yeah, and that it's running.
That's all we need to know.
So,
Yes. As you catch up within range quite quickly, does everyone still have their chem lantern in hand?
Yes.
Yeah,
I do.
I do.
Anyway.
Okay, in that case, you would only be able to use a one-handed weapon, which will unfortunately negate Harkin's las rifle. Or las gun,
Knife.
sorry.
Knife time.
Let's see.
Well,
I gotta
did
look
say
at which
pull
one's
my
which.
inventory. I got using that sucker.
So I have a knife.
Havelock and Quittus, you guys both catch up with this thing. It's wearing a helmet. It's got a rebreather on it, and this like motorcycle helmet type thing in our world with these red luminous eyes lit up on it. It's wearing leathers as well, like a leather jacket and leather trousers with these boots. It has a knife strapped to its belt, but it pulls an auto pistol from its holster. Havelock and Quittus, I'll leave it to you two to decide who should go first between you and attacking this thing.
Can I shout something before we engage in combat?
What would you be shouting?
On the ground!
Oh, I thought you were going to shout your catchphrase, damn.
On the ground in the name of the Emperor!
Wonderful.
There you go.
So as Avalok sees that the creature is pulling out the pistol, he tries to act and pushes Quintus to the left while he kind of dives to the right.
Okay.
All right.
So who would like to go first?
Who's going first, Havelock or Quittus?
I'll go first. I have a lamp, so I mean I'll go first, I guess.
I've got a lamp as well.
Oh, I was gonna say so everyone can see. I don't know, but yeah, okay, I'll go first. Why not?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, so Havelock, this
And on the ground, obviously it doesn't work.
man or creature thing in leather, it's humanoid, arms and legs, looks about just under 6 feet tall as it stands there. It pulls its pistol, but you're quicker than it, Havelock, because you move round. Tell us what you'd like to do.
Well, since I have a knife, there's like getting into range of that pistol doesn't seem to be really like a smart idea. Oh, but I can throw my knife. So I'll try and throw my knife at the
absolutely.
at the guy. All right, so for the dice roll, how does that play out? 'Cause I have a weapon skill
Okay.
4.
Yes, you roll 4d6, and
Okay.
that's going to be against this character's defense, which is 2. So you need 2 successes or higher to hit.
And then I have extra damage dice. Does that? I have
So
2
that will
extra-
come into play if you manage to hit him.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
46. All right, cool. Alexa, roll 4d6. Alexa, roll 4d6. All right. So 4, 2, 4, and 6.
4, 2, 4, and 6. So that's 4 successes. So because you got 2 successes and then a 6, so the 2 4s count as a success each. I have a defense of 2, so that hits, and then the 6 you can shift, so you can do extra damage.
Oh, okay, cool.
So the way that will work is with your knife, you automatically do the base damage, which is 3, and then you get to roll 2 extra dice, but instead you're going to roll 3 extra dice because of your 6. So 3d6.
All right. Alexa, roll 3d6. One, 3, and 4.
1, 3, and 4. So you got 1 success there added to your damage, which is 4. So yeah, you do 3 damage plus you got 1 success there, total of 4 damage. So let me just. So basically, the knife does 3 damage without any dice. So automatically, I take 3 damage. Then with your extra damage dice, one of them was a success, so that's a total of 4 damage you've done to me. As you throw the knife at this man as he pulls a gun out, the knife hits his leathers, but it sort of deflects off of them, bounces onto the floor. It manages to cut them, but you don't see any blood. It hasn't done any direct damage to this man as he stands readying his pistol and aiming it at you, Havelock.
Can I use a glory point to seize the initiative?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to attempt to use my chainsword to cut off the arm that's holding the pistol.
Okay, so that's a... isn't that a targeted attack?
I suppose so.
I think it adds an additional difficulty if it's an arm, a directed attack, because it's an arm, it'd be +1 difficulty. So defense of 2 +1, that's 3.
Alrighty, I'm going to use a wrath die to increase my die pool.
Okay. That'd be good. Oh, that'd be the damage die you can increase, I think. Not the dice for your pool. That's a glory that would do that.
The glory that would do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Any objections to me using a second glory point right off the bat?
Go for it.
Aren't you already there? So don't you have initiative already since you're right there?
Well, with this game, you trade initiative, and I used a glory point to steal the initiative from Jim.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
But are you all okay with me using another glory point of the 4 remaining to up my die pool to create a greater likelihood of cutting his hand off?
Sure. Go for it.
I don't mind.
Go for it.
All right. So I've got a weapon skill of 2, and adding the glory point will make that die pool of 3, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's looking real good. So we've got 1 failure. I have a 5 on my regular. Got a 6 on my wrath die.
So total of 3?
Back weapons glory points. Yeah, total of 3.
Oh, excellent. Excellent, you gain a glory point back. Yeah, so that hits. So how much damage do you do?
So damage with my chainsword is 6. Extra damage dice is 4.
Okay,
Damn.
so roll 4 dice.
Alright, so yeah.
Bring the pain.
Alright, so and that includes wrath dice?
For the damage? No. No, it's just...
Okay.
Good to know.
Just regular. Okay, so we've got 1, 4, 5, and 6, and because this is a brutal weapon, 1 and 2, 0 damage, 3 and 4 is 1 damage. So that's 1 damage, and then 5 and 6 is 2 damage each.
Okay, so yeah, Quios, we got a crit and killed this cultist person. So, Quios, tell us what happened to him.
Alright, so I'm just running at him with my chainsword revving. Let me just get my sound effect. And, and I basically stab the gun straight through his arm. So like going lengthwise down his arm, down the gun, down the arm, splitting the arm in half, and then just like shearing off the arm and then taking a side swipe at his midsection and just chopping him right in half.
So much for questioning.
Right?
Well, if he's gonna die, that
He
guy like Heretic.
splatters to the ground in chunks, cut in half by this chainsword. And through this noise, Steel comes running down the back street and just sees this mound of flesh on the floor in front of Havelock and Quittus. The blood streams out from it, and Havelock, you hold the chem lantern there, and it seems like this blood is particularly dark, like it's almost a purple color as you examine it.
That's kind of weird. You said he was human?
That's not normal.
Yeah. So, I guess I would want to look and see what details I can get from the remains. Like, maybe check his pockets or something like that.
Make me an investigation test here. And while you do that, we'll go around with everyone else. Harkin and Alaric.
Heretic to bother with.
Harkin charges up.
Alaric. Yeah, go ahead.
Harkin charges up and seems a little disappointed that he missed out on the action. But with all the light around, he's a little on edge. He puts his lamp away, his chem lamp, and takes out his las gun. Just in case. Too little, too late.
Alaric is studying this body for anything we can either find on it or maybe learn from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to check here real quick and see what you can do. All
right.
What skills would be useful for you? I mean, I could just do Scholar, if you think that's... Yeah, give me you can either do a Scholar or Actually, give me a Medicae check. And
medic. Okay, medic.
Medicae, yeah. And before we come to Havelock's test, Steele, you've come around to see that the person's already dead. What do you make of all this?
Steele walks up, looks at the body, looks up at Quintus, shakes his head. Just shakes his head like a disappointed parent at him.
What is
You dare show disappointment in the Inquisition.
Did you say this person was wearing a helmet?
Yes.
What all
Steele's gonna kneel down and slide the helmet off, cautiously and carefully.
Does Medicare use a stat or just the skill?
It uses intellect.
All right, bummer. My scholar is actually better, but
Havelock, how did you get on with your test?
So my investigation skill is 2, and what is that? What is that based off? Is that intelligence?
Yes, so that'd be your intellect. So it'd be 4, so 6 total.
Alright, so the intellect attribute is 4, and the investigation skill is 2. Alright, so 66. Alexa, roll 6d6. Alexa, roll 6d6.
4, 6, 5, 2 and 2 for a total of 25.
Another awesome roll.
Alright, cool.
Glory!
What was your result there, Havelock?
It was it was like 6, 4, 6.
2-2.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, excellent. So another glory. Okay, so before we move on to Steele and Alaric, Havelock, as you begin to investigate the body, just a peripheral look at it and checking the pockets, it appears to have some pretty ramshackled stuff on it. Like homemade auto pistol being stitched back together. The stuff in its pockets, it doesn't have any money. It's all like scrap and, odds and ends, not those of someone that would typically be in a hive would have. And there's no cultist stuff on it is the main thing that you notice. There's no marks of Chaos or Khorne or anyone else. And as you search further into the pockets, because you gained a success, I'm going to give Havelock an additional wealth. So you all have 2 wealth, which you can add to bribe people or later on to buy stuff. And Havelock, because of your gleaming success, you gain an extra wealth.
Cool.
Would I be able to get psychic mastery to see if there was any chaos fuckery going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. Roll me a psychic mastery test. And Alaric, how did you get on with your Medicaid test?
5, 1, 1, and 6.
Excellent. I'll give you the result to that in a moment. We're just going to get the psychic mastery, and then we're going to go to steel, and then we're going to give you your result.
My Wrath die are returning the favor of giving me a shitload of 1s. It's now a 6 again. I got a 1 on one of my dice, a 5 on one of my regular dice, and a 6 on my Wrath die. So for a total of 3 plus whatever the heck it's called. Complication.
A glory.
Success.
Excellent.
Glory.
Yeah. You guys have 6 glory.
Well, I used 2 of them last combat, and then I got 1 back and just got another back. Or did someone else get another glory point?
Yeah, someone else got another glory too.
Okay, I missed that then. 6 glory points. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
As the life fades from this thing, Quitus, you don't get the feeling of chaos, but something larger holding control with it. Something that you haven't felt before. You felt tinges of chaos around, but this is something very different. And Steel, as you remove the helmet from this person, they look odd, malformed, not in a typical chaotic way, but their head is malformed and they have sharp teeth and odd reddish eyes and a purple hue to its skin. As Alaric, you examine this and you identify immediately from your studies that this is from the genus of the Gene Stealer, and it has been mixed with human DNA.
Shit.
Human Gene Stealer crossover.
So,
Heresy.
Alaric, I'll give you the information that you would know that Gene Stealers use their DNA to corrupt human societies and then infiltrate them by mixing with them and then taking over from underneath and inside. So it's something you've read about, but you never thought you'd encounter. Particularly shocking to see it, and most other people probably wouldn't know what it is, but you...
They take over human societies from within. From the bottom up. That's why they're targeting the low hive.
We must cleanse these heretics then. I know not much outside of chaos, as I am from Ordo Hereticus. But it does not mean I cannot use my authority to cleanse this corruption.
Agreed.
Okay, but there's one thing we need to figure out still. We heard a scream. We're not sure that it was this thing. Steel's gonna point to the mess, or if it caused someone else to scream.
That is a good
I
question.
think someone else screamed. This thing didn't seem to scream even when I turned it into tomato paste with my chainsword.
Yeah, good job on that.
Good tomato paste too, not that chunky stuff.
I'm pretty sure it'd be kind of chunky.
Is the pistol that the thing was holding, is it still any good, or was it destroyed too?
It was completely shorn in half by my chainsword. Like, if you're holding a pistol out, my chainsword started tip going into the muzzle of the gun, through the
Holy
gun,
crap.
through the arm, through to the shoulder, just completely mangled it.
Just
and
sliced
then
it up
took
the middle.
A second swipe and just sliced and diced him straight through his core.
Tomato paste, I tell you.
Can we look around and see if we've got any sign of any other victims?
Yeah, everyone make me an awareness test. It's going to increase again. So this will be our last test of today's session. So it's difficulty 6, everyone.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Roll an
Right.
extra d6. What'd
So
you
that's-
say?
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a difficulty of 6, so you need 6 successes in order to detect anything with awareness.
4.
So for some of you, that may even mean you can't even get that result, but for some of you, you still can.
Fuck.
So what
God
the
damn,
fuck
Alaric, that was
you-
Oh, okay. I think I know what's going on around here.
Awareness with
You
use
got a
intellect.
success. Jeez. Damn.
I'm gonna use a wrath die since it's the end of the night to reroll.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Trying to get
You
some
might
more
as well.
glory.
All my wrath die. Well, that wasn't much better.
Oh man, you rolled a complication.
I also got a complication.
Oh dear.
What is the
Yep.
complication indicated by again?
It's 1 on your wrath die.
Oh. Okay.
And the first die that you
So-
roll is the raft die, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, I always go with the first one in the line. On
Can
the
we just change that to the
Harkin's
last
still a
one?
little groggy from being woken up in the middle of the night. He's looking around all bleary-eyed.
Alaric apparently.
How'd you get on?
We got 3, 1,
all
6,
successes.
1, 3, and 4.
For me.
Okay.
Oh.
And Steel?
I got a 6, a 4, 2, and a 1.
Well, there's a 6 on your rat die.
More glory.
God damn.
Hey!
I'm gonna have to start getting tougher on you guys.
We're a party of extremes.
It's all that
So-
for the Emperor.
I've gotten what, 2 or 3 6s on my wrath die, and this is my 4th critical failure.
Oh man. And you didn't succeed at the test.
No, I not only failed, I extra failed.
Everyone else is really, really shocked by seeing this creature here and taking in what Alaric was saying about these, like crazed half alien creatures that invade human society and take it apart from the inside out. But Alaric remains focused on the mission at hand, and as you all stand there taking it in, examining this creature that Quittus has butchered, Alaric looks up as they hear a sound off in the distance again.
Tomato paste, I tell you.
And Alaric, without taking narrative control from your character, which, try not to do, Alaric will point and say, I heard something over there. And then that's where we'll leave today's session.